Hey sis, hey, this is your girl Kristen Ogundere checking back in for another episode. Welcome, sis, welcome. This is Her Steps Are Ordered podcast. I am your host, Kristen Ogundere. Sis, I'm just want to check in with you. I feel like it's been a couple of weeks since I posted anything because I've been hard at work on this Her Steps Are Ordered collective. The Lord has really placed upon my heart to create this atmosphere for women that is not only just a safe space, but also it's about our purpose, deeply rooted in the foundation of God and His truth. So, if that is something that you are interested in, sis, I just want to encourage you to go to herstepsareordered.com and to register for Her Steps Are Ordered Collective in the month of April. I just wanted to drop in. I just wanted to say hello. I just wanted to say welcome to my new ladies who are my new subscribers. But also, I wanted to take a few minutes of your time to explain what Her Steps Are Ordered Collective is about. And if it's something that piques your interest, I suggest that you definitely register. Um, I know that the seats are pretty limited right now, but we do have a significant amount of ladies that have already registered. It is a free virtual event. This is a virtual event that for the ladies, so therefore you don't have to worry about hopping in a car to go anywhere. You don't have to drive a distance right now to attend anything. This is something that you can do from the comfort of your home. You can log in and you can get poured into, but you can also hear about from a biblical standpoint for us as women of God and the standard that we set of holiness, but also when it comes to our purpose. You could be a mother. You could be at a point in your life where you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're raising the children. You could be a working mother, you could be a working wife, you can be as a part of ministry. We're all from different walks of life. You can be younger, you can be older. This is something that all women can kind of come in and get in on. I feel as though this is something that God has placed within me to pour out to women, to let them know that your purpose is not in vain, and for you to not get weary in well doing. Purpose is not something that we chase after. Purpose is not something that we constantly think about to a point where we obsess over it. Purpose is something that God has placed within each and every one of us, and it's something that must be birthed. It's something that will not leave you alone. It's that thing that will not leave you alone that God has called you to do. I'm here to be the midwife that God has placed before you, to be able to give you that push that you need to walk into your fullest potential that God has placed within you. So many of us are dealing with everyday cares of life, but we've put our dreams, we put our goals, we put our purpose on hold. But now it's time for us to rise. There's a moment in time, there's an appointed time that God gives us all to rise. This is the point where God begins to stir up your gifting and your calling and your anointing in which He's placed within you. There is no specific age that your purpose must be birthed. There is no specific stage that your purpose must be birthed, but God has already placed it within you from before you were even a thought. Before He placed you in your mother's womb, He knew that you were supposed to come forth and come to pass. Therefore, if you are here in the land of the living and you are listening to this video right now and you are watching me, have been watching me, know that God has a purpose for you, sis. No life circumstance that you've been through, your past shouldn't exclude you from walking in your fullest potential in God. What you've done in your past, what you've been through, that's all a part of your journey. That's all a part of the story. That's all a part of the shaping and molding in which God has created for you to be right here for a time such as now. So there is so much more that is going to come with this collective. This collective is for the full month of April. The full month, sis, of April. I am not doing weekly to a point where I'm doing each and every single day, but I'm coming to you, and we are going to gather as women of God, as sisters of Christ, once a week. And that's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for an hour. So we are going to come together for an hour, 7 p.m., starting in the month of April. and we are gathering. But this is going to be empowering. This is going to be thought provoking. These are going to be questions. There are going to be questions that I give you. There are going to be some things that points to ponder on. There are going to be some things that I talk about that really make your mind think about, God, what is my purpose? If you don't know what your purpose is, if you know what your purpose is, and you just need to ignite it, you're going to get the fuel to your fire that you need. You're going to get the abundance that you need from this. You're going to get the pull that you need from this. We're going to get biblical insight on whatever it is, that purpose that God has placed within you. Whatever it is, if you've been stuck, if you've been feeling stuck, if there's something that you're saying, Lord, I have this idea, I know you gave me this purpose, I know what you called me to do, but Lord, I don't know what I need to do from here. I don't know what steps I need to take. This is something that you need to come in on. This is something that you need to be in the room for, because this is going to be something that God ignites within you to stir up the gift within. If you need direction, it comes from the word. If you need a push, it's going to come from the Holy Spirit. The only thing that is going to allow you to birth this vision, this purpose, this call that God has given you is to pull in relationship with God, a closer walk with God, and the word of God is going to give you the biblical insight, the truth, the understanding, the knowledge, the wisdom, the discernment that you need in order to go forth in God. This is not something that solely I can do, but this is something that God has placed within me to actually ignite the purpose that God has placed within you to do by just being used as a vessel. That's all I am, sis. I'm just the vessel that God has used. Purpose has always been a great thing for me. It started for me at the age of 13 years old. 13 years old was when God just began to speak to me. I didn't understand what it was about. I didn't understand what God was doing within me. I didn't understand the words that he had given me to speak, to put together the quotes, the many things that I used to do to encourage people, how I used to just pour into people. I didn't understand it then, but I understand that it now, because it was all a part of his design and how he created me to be. But this is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because it's not enough for me as a woman of God to walk into my purpose, to understand my purpose, my potential, what God has placed within me, and to be walking in it fully and boldly and unapologetically, and not share with other women. Not share with other women, not encourage other women, not support other women, not pour into other women. It's not enough of us that are walking in our fullest potential, that are experiencing success in our life, and that are actually taking the time out to speak to other women. It's not so much about how I did it or I do it, but it's more about who I'm drawing strength from, which is God. That is the only reason why I'm before you now. That is the only reason why I've gotten where I've gotten. That is the only reason why I'm able to do what I do with such a grace, because it comes from the Lord. So I just want to pour into you. I just want to take a moment of your time to invite you, sis, to come on in the room for Her Steps Are Ordered Collective, starting in the month of April. We are not that far away. We're just a few weeks away, but I just want to encourage you to sign up, sis. Sign up, sign up, sign up. Share this with another sister. Share this with another woman of God. Share this with a friend. Share this with a family member that has been speaking about trying to walk into their fullest potential, but they feel as though they're stuck. They feel as though they're stagnant. They don't know what move to make next, or they necessarily are at a point where they just allowed life to take over. I'm looking and I'm speaking to so many women that are watching this right now. You may be a part of ministry already. You may have a women's ministry. You may be trying to put the pieces together. You may be a mother that right now you're at a point in your life where you're raising children. That does not stop the gifting that God has placed within you. That doesn't stop the calling. Sometimes we get to a point in life, and there are stages in life that we must go through as women. There are stages in life that we're in where it may not necessarily be the moment. It may not necessarily be the time. It may the appointed time in which it must be birthed. But we must prepare to walk and step into the purpose and the calling in which God has given us. We must be prepared. Yes, he's placed it within us, but he begins to stir it up. as he begins to open our eyes and give us a deeper revelation of who we are in him, who he is, and what he has called us to do as far as his will here in this thing called life, then he begins to put the pieces together for us. Then your steps are ordered. This is the reason why it's called Her Steps Are Ordered, sis. We must understand that her steps have been ordered by the Lord through and through. That means that we always win, regardless of what the situation is, regardless of, you may feel as though you're dealing with a setback. You may feel as though you're dealing with blocking in the mind with your creative ideas, your creative aspects. You may not know what to do. You may feel stuck on a project or something that the Lord had given you, and then you kind of just lost hope, or you kind of just put it on the back burner because of life. Things happen, but that does not decrease your assignment. Do you understand what I'm saying, sis? Your assignment still must come to pass. Your assignment on this earth that God has given you must still be birthed. So regardless of what has happened in your life, do not allow what has happened, what you've been through, to allow you to be stagnant in your assignment in which God has given you. We all have a call to keep and a God to serve. And he expects us to carry this thing out through and through, not half step, not do it all the way and just, or fully or partially or some semi fully, but he expects us to go all the way. You see, God will meet us exactly where we are. God will meet us exactly where we are. He does that. He will meet you exactly where you are, but we don't have to stay there. That's the blessing of life. That's the blessing and the beauty of life, is that we can be in a space right now, but it takes acknowledgement to get to the next step. It takes acknowledgement and acknowledging, yes, I see this thing. I started this thing and I'm going to finish this thing. The Lord gave this to me. The Lord gave me this idea. The Lord gave me this business idea. The Lord gave me these children to raise, this husband, this idea, this something that has been burning within to be birthed and brought forth. The Lord gave me this. So what am I going to do with it? Yes, you may be a mother. Yes, you may be a wife. Yes, you may be single. Yes, you may have had a past that may not be pretty. We all have had a past. We're not perfect. Nobody is, sis. But I want to encourage you on tonight to let you know that your kingdom assignment is important to God. And it does not go unseen by God. Your thoughts, the ideas that you've written down, the prayers that you prayed, this thing is possible for this thing to come to pass. But you got to lock in. This is the time and season for you to lock in like never before. And I'm talking to myself too, because we all have things that we want to do. We all have things that God has placed within us, but we must take the first step. We're waiting on God for the next step, but sometimes God is waiting on us. We've heard this so many times. We've heard so many times that God is waiting on us to make that next step. He's waiting on us to trust him on a deeper level, to a point where we trust him wholeheartedly with the vision, because he gave it to us in the first place. So in order for us to move into the newness, in order for us to step out, in order for us to see the full fruit and vision come to pass, we must first trust God. There are so many key aspects to us stepping out on faith in God and igniting our purpose. I'm so big on purpose because, like I said, it's something that would not leave me alone in my younger years. Like when I was 13 years old, I couldn't stop thinking about purpose. I was always a deep thinker. I was always thinking of, encouraging people. I was always thinking about, okay, purpose this. I was big on purpose, and it still hasn't changed. It has not left me. And I understood, now that I'm grown, I understand this is what God wanted me to do. You see, your purpose is something that is bigger than you. Purpose is something that is not about yourself. It is to help other people. It is to push other people. It is something that is a driving factor for you. But at the same time, it is something that presses other people. It inspires people, and it ignites the gifting and the calling within. It gives them a spark and say, look, if this person can do it, then so can I. If this person is doing this, if this woman is doing this, then this is something that I know that I can do. I know I can walk in my purpose too, because I've heard her. I've seen her do this. This is inspirational. And y'all, this is nothing but the devil right now with somebody going by with this music, but please excuse it. But all I can say is that it's imperative. It's imperative in this hour for you to understand what you carry. So first it comes to that. But we're going to go through all of these things in our collective. We're going to go through all of these things in Her Steps Are Ordered Collective. I could go on and on and on about what Her Steps Are Ordered Collective is about. But sis, if you want to know more, go to the website. Go to my website, herstepsareorderedpodcast.com, herstepsareorderedpodcast.com, and sign up and register. This is a free virtual event. It says I am not charging anything for this because I know what God has placed within me, and I know exactly what he's called me to do when it concerning his daughters. I know that he has given me a purpose and an assignment to fulfill, and I know that I must be obedient. So this is me walking in obedience. This is me stepping out and allowing God to be God in my life so that I can ignite whatever God has placed within you, so that you must walk in your full God-given assignment. This is not something to take lightly. This is not something to take lightly at all. We have our nieces watching. We have our aunts watching, our mothers watching, our daughters watching, if you have daughters, cousins watching, younger women. They are the generation that's watching us. What are we supposed to do in this generation? What are we going to do in this generation? Sometimes it's important that we don't just wait until the next generation for the next generation to do something. Do it now. You're in a position to make a change. The change starts with us. You must make a change within yourself so that you can see the change that you want to see. This is something that you have to understand, being deeply rooted and grounded in God. When we are deeply rooted and grounded in God, we understand our fullest potential. We understand our full God-given will that he has for our life. That means that we're in a relationship to a point with God where we know what he's telling us to do. And not all the time, sis, we're going to know what the next step is. That is the pivotal point of walking by faith. You may not always see the full staircase. You may not see what the next step is. Sometimes God is waiting for us to just obey the first step he told us to do the first time. It's important for us to know these things, sis. I just want to encourage you on tonight, give you a little bit of encouragement on this midweek, but also drop in your spirit to check out Her Steps Are Ordered Collective coming in the month of April, because it's imperative that you tap in, sis. I mean, we're in a new year. It's not just so much about goals and different things, but it's time to do something different. It's time to step outside the box. It's time to break out of the box, because we don't serve a God that can be contained. We serve a living God. We serve a moving God. We serve an active God. We serve a God that cannot be kept in a box. And if we're his daughters, then we shouldn't be kept in a box either. Meaning that it's time for us to step up and step out. Step up and step out. Yes, it's okay to be a mother. It's okay to be a wife. It's okay to be single. But be walking in your purpose, sis. Be walking in your purpose, sis. Sometimes it's not all about doing a whole bunch of things, but it's about just being obedient to what God is telling you to do in this season. Do what God told you to do. Do what God told you to do. I'm even talking to myself. It's so easy for us to be consumed by the cares of this world, to be consumed by everybody else's care except for our own. But sometimes it's important for you to pay attention to what God is speaking to you directly. Sometimes it's important for you to engage with God on a deeper level, to get a deep understanding of what it is he's calling you to do right now. He's calling you, sis. He's knocking, sis. Are you going to answer? I love you. I pray that you have a blessed rest of this week. Remember, we are all her healing, evolving, and rising with God leading. Remember, sis, go to herstepsareordered.com and register for our free virtual event starting in the month of April. I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.